Hi, everyone. Dr. Justin Golston here. And today we're going to begin with discussing some Web3 and blockchain use cases. We're also going to discuss the Internet of Things, how the Internet of Things is going to impact Web3, as well as artificial intelligence. So as you can see, we have a number of different use cases, and we're going to try to keep this down to 20 minutes. So as far as we get within this 20 minutes, those 20-minute increments, we'll pick back up on the next use case in the next video. So as we begin, we know that blockchain is the foundation, it's the engine that powers cryptocurrencies. So there's going to be a number of things that blockchain and Web3 is going to provide in terms of currencies. We have seen where a number of people in emerging economies, especially in countries in Africa, they can't bank, right? And in some countries, women aren't allowed to use banks. So blockchain is going to provide the utility, the option for individuals to save their currencies and to trade cross-border, right? So also within certain countries, the dollar, the native dollar is not stable. A lot of countries are facing inflation at this given point in time. So cryptocurrencies, especially stable coins, actually assist in fighting inflation in some countries. I will say that stable coins and not the highly volatile cryptocurrencies that some people like to trade. In terms of exchanges, so within exchanges, you are able to trade from Bitcoin to stablecoin, trade from Ethereum to stablecoin, so that you can have more of a stable currency in your given countries. In terms of finance, we know that decentralized finance is one thing that is emerging around the world. Within the United States, they are looking to regulate decentralized finance and stable coins. Now, some people disagree that the government should not intervene, but I think that it's too much of the Wild West when it comes to anyone can create a token, and in my opinion, that is not a good thing. And also in the real world, trading bots are commonplace, commonly used within the stock market, within the crypto markets. A lot of bots are being leveraged, and that's where artificial intelligence is going to come in within the Web3 space. In another video, we talked about how Altered State Machine is developing non-fungible intelligence. So they are decentralizing artificial intelligence, and that is where we're actually putting the power of artificial intelligence in the hands of the people, not just these organizations that are able to invest large amounts of money on these trading bots within the crypto market, as well as within the stock markets. So artificial intelligence and blockchain so the finance industry was probably one of the first industries that had the true use cases for blockchain. The financial industry has been using artificial intelligence at a low level to a medium level for a number of years. So that also brings us into the trading, where we can actually develop trading bots within the Web3 space. We can actually train the non-fungible intelligence to be trading bots within the Web3 space. As we move on to e-commerce, there are some organizations that are already putting transactions on the blockchain. So every time that we would create we would create a transaction. Those transactions can be written to the blockchain where those transactions are immutable, right? At this given point in time, those transactions are permissioned, where only those organizations, those retailers are able to view those transactions. So in the event that, they get audited or they have to report something, all those transactions are on the blockchain and they're immutable, right? So, and for those who aren't knowledgeable about the immutability, that just means that transaction cannot be tampered with. That transaction cannot be erased. Okay. Recently, Shopify, a large retailer in the United States and other parts of the world, they just released an announcement where you can actually token gate your shops, right? So what that means is that if you have fans or if you dropped an NFT, you are able to only allow those people that have that non-fungible token into your Shopify store. Okay. Also, because you hold the intellectual property rights for certain NFTs, Shopify, for those consumers, Shopify is going to ensure that you hold that NFT in your wallet before you can actually sell it on your marketplace, right? So Shopify is using the blockchain for provability that you have the rights to actually monetize off of that particular NFT. So for example, if you held a Bored Ape, Shopify is going to validate that you hold that Bored Ape in your wallet before you can actually put that ape on a shirt or something like that, right? So that's intellectual property rights, and that's one thing that's it's going to be very important as we continue to emerge within this Web3 space. So once again, you're seeing these Web2 organizations going into Web3. I think that use cases like Shopify that we just mentioned is an on-ramp for more people to enter into the Web3 space. Going on to supply chain, you reviewed a video that I did previously to talk about the use cases within supply chain. In the coming years, supply chain is going to be impacted by blockchain, especially with this discussion of sustainability, where people want proof that organizations are acting ethically and sustainably. So blockchain is going to provide that transparency. Blockchain is going to provide that provability that organizations are doing what they said they're going to do. Okay. Also within Web3, from a supply chain perspective, we are going to see artificial intelligence continue to increase. Not only are we going to see more chatbots within enterprise resource planning applications to enhance the decision making among decision makers and leaders of organizations, you're also going to see artificial intelligence introduced in what we refer to as demand sensing. So demand sensing is where we're going to leverage artificial intelligence to pull data from the internet, from the Web2 world, right? And understand the sentiments of the consumers to reduce our forecasting error. Whenever we reduce our forecasting error, we do not have to buy as many raw materials. We do not have to buy as many products, and that is going to lead to a more sustainable world, okay? In terms of payments, going back to the currencies, within the Web3 world, with cryptocurrencies and stable coins, especially stable coins, we are going to be able to more easily transfer payments seamlessly around the world. The biggest issue we have current state is that if I need to transfer a large amount of money, if I need to transfer money overseas, right? In most cases, I have to, without using Western Union, I have to wait for my bank to open on Monday. with Web3, with blockchain, with cryptocurrencies, I can transfer any amount of money at any time around the world, right? Even with Western Union, the grocery stores here, in the US close at 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. Western Union closes before that. So if I need to transfer money at midnight, my time, I have to wait until the next day for Western Union to open. With blockchain, I can move that money anytime. Also, in terms of diamonds and conflict minerals, Tiffany and De Beers are already, to reduce the issue, to combat the issue of conflict diamonds or blood diamonds, they are putting every single diamond that goes into their supply chain network on the blockchain. Okay, so that's one thing that they're doing right now. That is happening right now. So in terms of diamonds and minerals and gold, all of those transactions, from mine to ring, or mine to finger, however you want to put it, every single one of those transactions are going to be uploaded, are going to be written to the blockchain and transparent for provability that is not a conflict diamond. In terms of CRM data, so customer relationship management data, all of that information, all of the communications could be written to the blockchain. If you're looking at it from a organizational perspective, once again, that's going to be a permissioned blockchain where only individuals within that organization can see that data. Another concept that we talk a lot about are off-chain transactions. So off-chain transactions are information that is done off-chain, is done in the Web2 world, and then we have tools such as Chainlink, where they can pull that information and make it transparent on the blockchain. So we're going to see things like that from a CRM perspective. That's going to be we're going to take off-chain data, and then we're going to use tools such as Chainlink to move it on chain. And then finally, 18 minutes. Yeah. So finally, we might just go through one column each video, make it easier. And finally, crowdfunding. So this is one of my favorite use cases, and we're going to do a discussion board, a discussion on quadratic funding. So quadratic funding is a way to fund public goods in a democratic way. So there are two different flavors that you're going to see in the video for the discussion post of one person, one vote, or $1, one vote, depending upon the situation. One option may be better than the other option. So that is one thing so quadratic funding is one thing I'm very excited about, because all of that quadratic funding is going to be transparent on the blockchain. So you can see where people, what the interest of people are, and two, where they're putting their money at, right? We always have the saying, put your money where your mouth is. Well, that's what they're going to be doing when it comes to quadratic funding. Gitcoin is a project that actually funds the development within Web3. Gitcoin actually uses quadratic funding to actually fund Web3 projects. So a number of these things that, once again, a few years ago were just theory, they're actually being put into practice. And lucky for you all of these projects are looking for people to contribute, because there's a big gap within the industry in terms of people that understand the use cases and that can develop these solutions. So we're going to start off with hotel booking in the next video. Until next time.